What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav Show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel, and also live from Travis's X and also his Instagram account. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. To my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother and friend, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good. I'm exhausted. Let me tell you. Whole week at the Shrine game, just, it was a great success. Got to meet with a lot of NFL scouts. Caught up, obviously, with Jaron Kanik and RSJ and Marvin Jones Jr. and Fabechi Weewoo. It was a great time. So even our boy Bauer Sharp was there. So it was a fun week, but man, it was a lot. A lot of talking to scouts, a lot of selling, a lot of trying to convince people, hey, you guys are doing it the wrong way. Not doing it the wrong way necessarily, but just like we could help you do this better. So I will be at the combine as well. Obviously, I'll be up there onboarding Marion, but I will. I've got my combine pass as well now, so I'll be able to go in, and I think I'm going to be meeting with a few NFL teams to present data while I'm up there. So that'll be really cool.
That's nice. That is nice.
Yeah, I just got back this morning. How you been? What you been up to?
Good, man. All this snow. We had school for the first time today, and it's still cold. I mean, the wind chill is like -20. But other than that, man, doing all right, chugging along, and starting our own interview process for my replacement. So, me and Josie did the same thing, I guess, this year, and both of us helping out to find our replacement. So I'm in that process too, and got a good amount of candidates. So that's cool and exciting, and just lets me know that I've done a good job of building a good foundation and something that people want to come and hopefully continue on. So yeah,
for sure.
It's been cool, man, and definitely looking forward to talking a little bit about Roger Denny and some draft talk and what we want to see from the workouts. But I did talk to G Baby earlier today. I know he's popping off at the Senior Bowl, and I know that he's gonna be at the combine. So I was like, hey, Trav and I are up there. If you got some time, let us know. So yeah, it was good to talk to him. But anyways, yeah, let's get into Roger Denny, the new athletic director at the University of Oklahoma, was the deputy AD at Illinois, and has an extensive background in law, if I'm not mistaken. And so just interesting, not an interesting hire, but certainly maybe not a splash one in terms of a name that a lot of people knew.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, and I put this out on Twitter, and I know I was being a bit confrontational, not quite KP levels of confrontational, but it's all the people that were like, maybe we should put Bob Stoops as AD. It's like all those people that were like, I don't like the hire. It's like, okay, like if the people that like don't understand what ADs do so much that they think Bob Stoops, A, would be willing to do it, or B, should do it. Like, if you think that, like, I'm actually pretty excited that you're not excited about like the AD hire. That means it's probably a good one. So, Illinois, they've been successful from like a foundational sense, like an operational sense. Their facilities, their donations, all that stuff. They've got, Brent Bielema and Brad Underwood over there, two good coaches. They spend a lot of money on basketball. Hopefully, something that we'll see here at Oklahoma. They've been competitive football without the talent or the resources that Oklahoma has.
Mhm.
You mentioned his extensive law career. You know, they're really looking for somebody that isn't resting on, oh, the way it used to be. You know, we could win with the way it used to be. So let's try and keep like he's like, no, we're new age. We're going to compete. We're going to spend. We're going to raise. We're just going to do all that. So it's like it's. I think he's going to be great. I think he said all the right things in his presser today. He was prepared extremely well. Got the pronunciations of the names correctly.
Mhm.
Uh, like it was good. And you know, the elephant in the room right now, obviously, is the basketball program. And he addressed it and said, you know what, you know, I stuck with this, that, or the other. We were building this. Took it 7 years. It's all about staying in the fight. And you know, usually things crumble because of fatigue. We can't afford fatigue. And I don't know. It's just I don't think you can determine whether he's a good AD based on the press conference, but I think you can get excited about stuff over a press conference. I think you can be bummed out about stuff in a press conference, and he didn't say anything
Yeah.
that bummed me out. You know what I mean? So, and I think a lot
Mhm.
of people like I know we're on a 7 game losing streak in basketball right now. I don't expect him to fire Porter within like a week of him starting the job. That just
Yeah. We'll see.
you don't want to enter a big job with that kind of like the first thing you do is take an axe to, a coach. Like you don't want to
Yep.
do that. You want to announce a new project. You want to announce a new initiative. You want to give an update on a project, whether that be North Park, whether that be the baseball, whether that be West Side expansion. You want to get some make your layups. See the ball go through the net a couple times
Mhm.
before you have to do something like that. But yeah, I'm super excited about him. And again, it's the idea that he's not going to just rest on the blue blood, just say, hey, we've won a lot here. That means we can win more because we've won a lot in the past. I mean, he even said, he goes, the fact this is a blue blood isn't helping us right now. Like, it's not, that doesn't help us right now or in the future. Like, we need to continue to do the things that those guys did in the past that made us a blue blood. And that was, grit, determination, finding talent, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really, really excited about it. So he was good. He was really good. So did you get to catch much of the presser?
I caught a little bit of it. I really didn't, have time to look at the full thing yet. I saw a clip that I think OU Athletics posted. Specifically, I think about this, or I don't know if it's OU Athletics or somebody else, but specifically about his answer about Porter Moser, and everything like that. But I didn't watch the entirety of it. I would like to. Obviously, a high school AD versus college AD is a lot different in terms of what we're being asked to do, but there's some similarity. So I'm just intrigued from the AD profession side of of things to see what he said, and like you said, it sounds like he answered things the right way, and alluding to what you said earlier, Trav, about your confrontational tweet. We learn from each other. I learned to calm down and not tweet as much from him, and sometimes he can learn. Hey, put it out there. No, but in all seriousness, your point about, hey, we're not just asking some random guy to step in and be AD, because that's not how you actually develop programs. Those are programs that are predicated on, nepotism is maybe not the exact correct word to use, but some, like, in that vein, right? Like having a friend step in, having somebody that we really like but's not qualified for the job. Like, you don't want that. Like, there's so much that an athletic director has to do. It has to be over, and obviously he has a ton of help. Like, there's a bunch of WADs and ADs over specific sports and over specific marketing, whatever. But he's over it all, and casting the vision, talking to boosters and donors and all these things, doing fundraising campaigns, marketing campaigns, all these things that are going to drive revenue for the athletic department, which Joe C was really good at. If you look at over time, like, he was super good at that. It was just, it's seeing, and whether it's him or the university, the compliance department, whatever, it's just seemed like they'd be frugal sometimes when it came to certain things. And so now it's like, hey, with a new guy, like we do have to obviously not only with football, yes, football matters, but even with our other sports, mainly we see basketball right now. Like, do we want to compete? Is that something we desire to do? And let's see what happens with that. So, what were you gonna say, Trev?
No, I was just thinking, like, you bring up with basketball, baseball, even football, like you need your three revenue sports. And I know softball is a revenue sport at Oklahoma, but like you need your traditional big three sports, football, men's basketball, and baseball
Mm-hmm.
to be rolling, like to be postseason every year. Like
Yeah.
that needs to be the standard at Oklahoma. So
Mm-hmm.
right now, your second biggest revenue sport is on a 7-game losing streak in sole last place in the SEC. So not good enough, and he's going to be tasked with changing that, but and much more. But to your point, kind of the nepotism, the nostalgia hires, the just
Mm-hmm.
place your buddy in there, or place a big figure like a Bob Stoops, and look, I know a lot of this is going to be sound like me crapping on Bob Stoops. It's not. Bob Stoops is a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. He's meant so much. He's one of the most important figures in Oklahoma history, probably the state of Oklahoma history, not just the
Yeah.
University of Oklahoma history.
Yeah.
So, but he would tell you that he is not qualified to be athletic director. Um, I liken people, the same people that want Bob to be athletic director are the same people who want Hollis Price to be the head coach. Like, love Hollis. Hollis was awesome. He was my favorite player growing up, but there's nothing on his resume that says that he is qualified to coach at the University of Oklahoma, in the SEC. That kind of, like, he's been an assistant coach since 2021, and he's not the top assistant on the staff. That's Kellen. Like, I love him to death, and maybe one day he can come home. But we talk about this with hires. It's nice to have somebody that's familiar with the standards. Like Brent Venables is familiar with the standards of Oklahoma. Like,
Yeah.
but you don't only have to hire people that played here to coach here. I mean, this podcast was heavily, heavily opposed to Joe John Finley, but he played here. We played here. What do you mean? You'd much rather have Jason Witten, who played for Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, Bill Bedenbaugh didn't play here. He's put more people in the NFL than the whole defensive staff has in the last 5 years. Like, so anyways, like, you don't have to continue those ties. So I hope when this athletic director, who seems all business, like, that's one thing. He doesn't have a relationship with Hollis Price that Joe C does. He doesn't have the relationship with the Sampsons that Joe C does. He doesn't have those relationships. He is going
Yeah.
to go out and find the best coaches available that fit, his vision at the University of Oklahoma, and he's going to put those people in place and give them the appropriate resources to compete at a championship level. And I know it sounds simple, but it's harder than it looks, because you've got all your buddies, you've got all your friends, and I'm not accusing Joe of doing it, but there are fans that want them to do that. And I just retire Hollis's jersey. Don't put him in a suit, in the huddle. Go get yourself a proven coach, because OU deserves that. Like, I know we've gone down this path of OU basketball, like, just being terrible at times, and especially right now. Like, but OU basketball is a proud program with good history that
Mhm.
deserves a good coach, a proven coach. Go get one. So, I mean, the AD, that's your job now. That's your job. But I thought he was good today, and yeah, and it was really cool that the Illinois athletic department came and supported him and showed up to the press conference, and
Mhm.
it was cool
That's
for them
cool.
to be there.
Yeah.
Toby brought it up on radio today. It was very cool that, like, when the Arizona Cardinals front office came to Kyler's Heisman statue unveiling, like, that kind of stuff. Like, that's what good organizations do. And Illinois has been on the rise lately, and Roger Denny's a big reason. So I think he'll do well. I'm excited to start this era.
Yeah. No, couldn't agree more, man. We got to give him opportunity to step in and bring OU into the new era. And you know, OU as a brand and just who the school is, man, that they're going to take their time with this one because, especially because whoever's hired has to. I'm not saying he has to be Joe C, right? Like I think Joe C set a standard in certain ways, right? But that whoever they hired is a guy that they feel like, man, he can come in here and do a good job, even filling in for or stepping in after Josie. And so I feel like I trust the administration. I know as much as people, obviously were miffed at Josie in recent years for different things. I think overall his tenure at Oklahoma was very successful. He was seen as one of the best, if not the best, ADs for a chunk of time, right? So we know that he knew what he was doing and that he, had good vision, everything like that. So we're hoping that hey, he, is going to continue to mentor and be a consultant for Roger Denny as he steps into this role. And Roger's going to bring some new things that hopefully bring Oklahoma success in those sports, specifically football, men's basketball, and baseball.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to come down to money. He's a shrewd negotiator. He talked a lot about monetizing the intellectual property, right? So he's going to be talking a lot with um, Sooner Sports Properties and trying to make sure they're monetizing everything. So he's like, we've got a lot of unique opportunity here, and we need to be juicing, getting every bit of juice out of it that we can. So realistically, ask CB Soon, realistically, how much of the BMD's influence on an AD's decision on hires and things like that you're talking about? I mean, I think with I think with the new guy, there will be obviously some people that are like, "Hey, welcome. I'm here to support." The nice thing about Oklahoma is a lot of the big donors they just want to help, like the Kimmery family, like Brian and Kim Kimmery that gave what 20 million. I think they've given like 40 million or some 50 million or something like that over their time giving to Oklahoma.
Mhm.
Like they're the who the baseball stadium is going to be named after. Like those are people that want to continue to give and help for the benefit of the student athlete. They're extremely kind people. They're not flashy. They're not. They don't say, "Hey, put my name on on everything in every brick that goes up here. Put a picture of my face. Put a statue of me outside." There's not those people. But um, obviously, like the Headingtons,
Yeah,
like Wallace, these guys, they just love the university, right? And this is not. I don't think that there are as many egos driving the BMDs as there are at other schools because it's not necessarily the pissing match that it is at other schools. So yeah, I think the BMDs will have influence on a little bit, but I don't think on hiring. Like, but he's absolutely going to have to fundraise. Like, you always will have to fundraise as an AD. Like, money makes the world
yeah,
go round. Like now more than ever. So when Joe came down to the OU Club of Tulsa event where we did the fireside chat with him, I was actually getting worried because like I didn't have his cell yet, and I was talking to his assistant. I'm like, "Yo, like, where is he? Like, event's about to start. Everybody's here for Joe C. He's got to talk in 15 minutes. I haven't seen him yet." Well, here he comes walking in the back door, and he's like, "Oh, I've been in the parking lot for a half hour. I've just been on the phone trying to raise money." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Joe." I was like, "Yeah, me worried sick." I was like, "Give me your cell phone so I can check on you in the future." He's like, "All right."
yeah,
So, anyways, I think from the fundraising standpoint, if I'm Roger Denny, I am taking the old private jet and I am hitting up Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, you know, Northwest Arkansas, probably Tulsa for sure, even the Northeast
mhm,
trip. And I am meeting face to face with the top 100 donors to the University of Oklahoma. Whether I'm taking them to breakfast, whether I'm going to get coffee with them, whether I'm going to have a beer with them, like I'm doing that if I'm the AD and I'm going to talk to them about, hey, what would you like to see? Here's my vision. This is what we're going to do. And, I'd like you to be a part of it. I'm this is how much each thing is probably going to cost. I'll be, if you ever need anything, here's my cell. Call me. I'll help you out or find somebody that can. And I would do that. I don't want to see an email go out, like, and just some email blast that says, "Hey, come meet the new AD. $50,000 a plate. We're gonna have a chicken breast." Like, I don't want to see any of that nonsense. That's just not how you raise money. Like,
Yeah.
So I hope that President Harris puts him on a jet and gives him basically, I don't know, a month to meet with the top 100 donors and just introduce himself, make him feel welcome, make him feel, because there are a lot of them that got really close with Joe C.
Yeah.
Brother was AD for almost 30 years.
Yep.
So they got really close with Joe C. When they were writing those checks, Joe C was the one that was, I mean, a lot of these guys, their Sooner Club rep on their like profile is Joe Castiglione. So like there are going to be guys that are very loyal to him, and obviously Joe's blessing with Roger Denny is very important, but Roger's going to have to make those relationships quickly because what with the support of Joe, that's great, but like they've got relationships spanning decades with Joe, and they got to catch up with that. You can't expedite that. I mean, I guess if there's a relational science company that they want to work with, I suppose we could probably expedite it, but that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. I swear, if I sign like 3 NFL teams before OU calls me back, I'm just kidding. They've been very receptive.
That would be something.
I know. I ran into Beadenbow in Frisco. He was about to fly up to go do some visits, and yeah, because Jerry Montgomery, who coached defensive line 2013, 2014 at OU, he's the Bengals defensive line coach. So he was at the Shrine game because he was coaching defensive line in the Shrine game. He came over. We were at a steakhouse and sitting at the bar, and we started talking bourbon. I came back with too much bourbon, and one thing leads to another. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, old Bill B walks in, and I'm like, "Oh, look at the cat drug in." So he was having dinner there with Jerry and Fabechi and all those guys. So it's cool to run into him for sure. And then last night I had dinner with Jaron Kanik and some of the tailgate group and whatnot. Funny story real quick.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys we were at dinner with last night, he goes, "So Travis, you're up on all this portal stuff and whatnot, right?" I was like, yeah. I stay pretty tuned into it. He goes, "So what position group you think really like made a big step up? What improved?" And I was like, I'm literally sitting next to Jaron, and even Jaron goes, "The tight ends," and I was like, I mean, it is, but he's like, Jaron knows what's up. Like Jaron, he knows what's up. So, but it was funny, and it was good to kind of kick it with them a little bit and see the last time that Jaron will ever put on Crimson Cream officially. So it was very good, and I'm glad he's got a sense of humor about it. I was like, "Bro, you were a linebacker, and the next year you were all SEC tight end." So I was like, he's a funny guy. So
yeah, that's hilarious. That actually is very funny.
He got to hang out. He got to hang out. He got to hang out all week with Kirby's favorite player, Bauer Sharp. They were two peas in a pod. They were hanging out all week.
Yeah,
and they were on the same team. They were both tight ends on the West team, so they were they were like it's weird. There's a ton of downtime, like between 2 and 5 every day, and then schedule's nuts. It's wild. Shrine game's fun. I've always wanted to like if I wasn't involved in the Shrine game, I always thought it would be hilarious because they divide the teams up east west, right? So like I always thought it'd be funny if like you were just a West fan,
Mhm.
like if you just showed up to the game every year like decked out and like just like West and like a West jersey, and like all year you talk about like yeah, like who's your favorite team? The West team in the Shrine game. That's my favorite team, and like you tailgate it and you that like your Super Bowl. I think that'd be a lot of fun. A lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Low investment. You know, you basically
mhm,
go to one game a year, but you just cheer like crazy.
yeah.
That'd be
It'll be
fun.
fun. It will be fun. It'll be exciting. Speaking of, man, obviously we've had a couple things on the Roger Denny tilt, and felt like it'd be good to move on. Nice segue to the draft process, and what we're seeing. Obviously, what you saw at East West Shrine Bowl from some of our guys like Fabechi and Jaron and Marvin Jones Jr. And then even speaking of our buddy Grayson, obviously, and allegedly Jaden Ott, which I have thoughts about that, but yeah, just want to let me put that out there for everybody. What are our thoughts about what these guys are doing, what we've seen, what you saw with your own eyes this week?
Well, the Shrine game, Fabechi definitely helped his stock. So, Fabechi and Kirby, yes, we're reading them everywhere. But with Fabechi, he got a lot of work at center because Pat Coogan, who was the Notre Dame transfer to Indiana, just won a national championship with Indiana. He was the Rose Bowl MVP. Um, or no, yeah, Rose Bowl MVP. Um, he didn't show up because he had just won a national championship like 2 days before he needed to be there. And so originally he was going to be on the West team. So um, it was going to be Brian Parker from Duke, Fabechi Wiwu, and Pat Coogan all running center on the West team. Well, that sucks because you got to divide the game into thirds. Well, with Pat Coogan not showing up, Fabechi got an increase in snaps and an increase in reps at practice, and he made the most of it. So I'm excited for him. And obviously he won the Pat Tillman Award. Everybody loved him there. And then Jaron Canick, I think he improved his stock. He had good interviews. I think a couple of I know one team. I won't share too much, but I know one team told him if he ran below a certain number that they'd be giving him a call, and it was a 40 time. Yeah, it was. They've never seen Jared run. Like Jaren's, they're about to get a call. I'll put it that way, or they're about to give a call. So yeah, with him, he improved his dress up. RSJ had a good couple days, and then he had like a ingrown toenail or something. He took his shoe off, and there was blood in his sock. So he was like, "I got to drop out. Got to go get treatment in Tampa." So he was out. And then Marvin Jones Jr. I think tweaked an ankle or something like that, but he had a really good first couple days of
Yeah,
practice. One of those standouts. So all's good in the OU world at Shrine Game. Jaron will be going to the combine. Pretty sure Fabechi has a combine invite. I'll have to check, um, but yeah, they did well. So excited for him. And then yeah, with the Senior Bowl, obviously Grayson's been getting a lot of love. That spin move video came out, was violent. He's always just he's been so disruptive
yeah,
into the backfield his whole career. So I think his trajectory is good. When you look at the other guys, Owen Heineke and Kendall Daniels and Jaden Ott, the freshest legs in the country at the
yeah.
Senior Bowl. Like Tyler brought something funny up on the radio today, and he was like, "Man, if Jaden Ott gets drafted, which I think he will, Jaden Ott's going to get drafted. if he plays somewhere next year when they do the Sooners in the NFL in the stadium, when they put Jaden Ott up, I mean, I don't know if they will or not, but God, I hope they do. It would just be so awkward.
Yeah.
It'd be so awkward. Just so like it's like right after Baker with a bunch of fireworks and whatnot. It's like,
yeah. I'm just at a loss, man. Like it's like, I mean, you know the beef that I've had. Like I was so apparently vocal about it that I got a follow from the OU athletics account. The when he did that little after the Missouri game, he put out that little Instagram about him walking through the Switzer Center and stuff, probably for NIL purposes. And I was like, bro, this looks atrocious. Like we have Tory Blaylock out here with one arm, X out here with no good legs, and you fresh on the sideline, and you post a NIL video, bro. Like that's what's happening now. And now, we're seeing people say that you're a standout potentially at the Senior Bowl. I don't know, man. It's either he got something messed up, or like we've talked about, man, DeMarco, man, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. But here's for example, Gabe was like, what are we talking about here? Because Oklahoma running back Jaden Ott was an absolute killer block at the end of day 2. Let's watch this video.
Here, I'm gonna I gotta answer
together.
Byron. I gotta answer Byron real quick. So Byron asks, is it mine?
Work properly.
Is it me?
I mean, it gets his teammates pumped up, Trav.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I had to switch over to my hotspot. So, but
okay. Did you see that?
Byron was asking. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you can finally block. Weird. So Byron, it looks here that Jaden Ott was 5'1", 07, weighed in at 202. His hand was an 8'4", and his arms were 3'1", 2'8". So, but yeah, if he goes out and balls out in the NFL, who we blaming? We blaming DeMarco. We blaming Nagy. We blaming Jaden Ott. We blaming, because we gotta have blame somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be at fault for this not working.
Somebody, because
somebody. We need our pound of flesh.
Yeah. Houseway. That's all I gotta say.
Houseway.
Oh, that's all I gotta say. But yeah, man, I'm excited for G Baby, and I just feel like, I know he's our guy, but I really feel like he is actually underrated. Like, truthfully. I think he does so much.
At 293, it'll be interesting because he's an interior defensive lineman, and it's like, I don't know, it's tough. It's tough once you get to the NFL, and it feels like every offensive lineman's like 340. Like 6'5", 340. It's like, and I know he's done well with it for sure. He's going to continue to do well.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering how many GMs are going to get caught up in their old ways of, I need this position to be this tall and this heavy. I need this position to have this big a wingspan. I need this position, because he's not gonna blow everybody away with his measurables, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you turn on the film and
he's not.
Like I like I said on Twitter, you turn on the film and he gets his mail sent to the backfield. He just made so many plays, and Oklahoma's going to miss him dearly.
Yeah, they are. They really are. I'm interested, Trav, to see what his 40 time is.
Yeah, I'll
I
be interested
really
by
am.
that. He'll be one of the faster ones.
Yeah, yeah, because he can go. He ran track in high school, and just I mean, you just see the way he explodes up the field off on tape. Man, it's exciting. It's
Yeah, it
exciting.
really is.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. Okay. Um. Okay. So, what are, in your opinion, Travis? Um, what are our prospects for highest draft pick? Probably our Mason. You think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, R.
And
Mason will be
you think
in the
he didn't do anything in the Senior Bowl with why?
no. No, I think it'll be and I kinda get it, like, coming off injury, he wants to be healthy for the combine. Like,
Makes
it is
sense.
what it is. Like, these agents are like, if you so much as, like, have dry eyes, like, sit out of the bowl game. Like, we need you to be healthy for the combine.
Yeah.
So, anyways, and like I said, with his injury he was fighting back from, it makes sense for him to hang out. But I think he'll have a chance to get in the first round, but I'm thinking like top 50 pick. You know, he's going to be around there. And then Dion Burks, honestly, I'd probably see the next one taken,
Mhm.
which I think a lot of Oklahoma fans will sit there and go, man, I really wish we would have got more out of him at Oklahoma. I mean, he's got great straight line speed. He tracks the ball well. You know, I don't know. He just didn't make enough people miss. I thought
Yeah.
he was going to be just crazy in the open field.
Like Kadarius Tony. And he
Yeah,
missed.
and you just never saw it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And you know, I like Dion a lot. I thought it was telling that Isaiah Satania became the go-to wide receiver on the team immediately, but I just don't. I just don't understand why we couldn't ever see him make a man miss in the open field. I think our offense changes dramatically if he's able to do that. He made tough catches. He had a few drops, a few concentration drops in his time, but hey, we'll take another draft pick. We'll take another Sooner in the NFL. So I think after that it's a bit of a crapshoot. I think
Yeah.
Grayson probably goes next. Marvin Jones Jr. might go next.
Yeah.
He's got that more prototypical build, and he really put on some nice reps at the Shrine game. Um, so we'll see. I think I'm really really hoping that R Mason can sneak into like pick 31 or 32 because Oklahoma, I think it's in the last 20 years, has two defensive first round picks. Bill Bedenbaugh has as many
Yeah.
first round picks on his offensive line in the last 3 years as the whole defense does in the last 20. Like, that's crazy. For a place like Oklahoma, for a place like
Yeah.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
to have only two first round picks on defense in the last 20 years.
It's crazy.
I mean, we've had more number one overall picks on offense
Yeah.
than top 32 picks on defense. We've had more number one overall quarterbacks taken. I mean,
Yeah.
ugh, ugh.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat that you just came with. Yeah. That's. I feel like it'll change too here in my opinion, in the next 3 years. Like I think
It's got to, man. Like,
I think Cortland, is tracking to be a first round guy. I think Jaden and David are. I mean David especially. I guess it would depend on If Jaden is seen as highly valued as I think he is as a run stopper, because obviously he's not the flashy, even like Grayson was like flashy. He's not going to get a bunch of sacks because that's not his, bread and butter. But does that mean that he wouldn't be like a first round defensive tackle? I don't know.
Yeah. I could
David's
see
going to be on that build, I
like a
guess.
Powers and Boganowski type situation.
Yeah.
If Okoye is going to test through the roof,
Yeah.
so he can continue to build and be a sponge for Miguel Chavis, he's got a chance. Yeah, I mean corners, it's tough at corner because both of them are undersized compared to what they want. And I mean, there was a 6'3" corner out there from Vanderbilt, and I'm like his legs look like that, but it's like they're making crazy athletes though. So yeah, I think it's got to change soon. I think R. Mason has a better a decent chance, but Kirby, you got to show up earlier to the show. We talked like the first 15 minutes about new AD Roger Denny. He's the new athletic director at the University of Oklahoma. He had his introductory speech today.
Yep.
But I could see Powers and Boganowski kind of challenging as well.
Really?
They've got the size.
Yeah.
They'll people are valuing those hard hitting safeties now, and I really do feel like that Powers Boganowski duo. Like I think they are ready for special things. Like
I'm interested to see how as they step into a new role this year, just more more responsibility and playing time on that.
Well, and Peyton Bowen, Peyton Bowen's going to be fun to watch as like the guy at safety, right? Yeah. Because he came in behind Billy, obviously. Billy gets drafted, and then it's RSJ's room. And then, now it's him. Peyton Bowen, the 5-star. The nightmarish headache recruitment. This is where it pays off, Peyton. This is where it pays off.
Yeah. Man, you forget about that a little bit.
Man, I don't. Because I had, he committed to Notre Dame, or he flipped to Notre Dame, flipped to Oregon while I was on air. And then the next day when I wasn't on air, he flipped to OU because the paperwork was wrong. I'm like, so I had to deal with all the fan base, text line, Twitter, going off on us and crashing out. And then the next day, the other two were like, "Oh man, best day on radio ever! It's a blast, man. They're in a great mood." I'm like, I had to have the David Hicks recruitment and the Peyton Bowen recruitment both go wrong on my day.
David Hicks was brutal. I remember that one.
That was a terrible day. I got a text from Lee Davis that day with just a throwing up emoji 13 seconds before it went live, and I was like, it was just too late. It was too late. And we opened with, "Welcome, it's David Hicks Day today on KREF." Tyler was saying it. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's actually insane. Yeah, that was rough. Yeah, the Hicks to Norman. But and you know what? It worked out. Like obviously we got an amazing defensive line room. Or what we have had, and these two are now stepping up. Interested to see who steps in behind them. As we continue to move forward. But yeah, man, Todd Bates has done his thing. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that fleshes out. But exciting to see all these guys coming out and doing well. And who knows, man? Like, I guess we'll see how R. Mason tests, and if that makes him a low first round or something like that. Depending on, I know he's not, theoretically like size wise, his measurables aren't whatever. But you know what? Neither were Nick Benito's. And you see what Nick's doing. He's, the last 2 years been Player of the Year finalist and got a huge contract. And R. Mason is not of the same type of build because Nick can cover a little bit too, but R. Mason is an exceptional athlete. Exceptional athlete.
No, he really is.
And I think that, how he tests and on top of the fact that what his tape shows and as I said before, Travis, this man was voted first team all SEC and played like less than half the league games. That is
Yeah.
insane. In a conference like the SEC in particular, that's insane. So I think that shows just the type of player that he is. And I mean, coaches vote on that. And so they know what type of player he is. And so I'm interested to see, how it fleshes out for him.
If I was Grayson's agent, I would bring up the video to every single scout I talked to. I would bring up the video of Grayson saying, "Yeah, R. Mason just told us to take this last snap off," and then show him the video of him running right through the soul, speed to power of the right tackle for Auburn, and getting through the running back who was trying to help, and him ending the game by sacking Jackson Arnold in the end zone for a safety. Like, he got through a double team and nobody else was rushing. He just said, "I'm gonna go. I'm calling game," and he just, I mean, that is the embodiment of why you draft R. Mason Thomas, is because he's gonna sit there and just say, "All right, game over. Watch this," and smoked that right
I'll take
tackle.
him in Indianapolis, Travis. I'll take him up here in Indianapolis. We need a pass rusher. We need a pass rusher, man.
Man, I don't know if we've got. I know we've got some good edge rushers right now, but man, we're not going to be picking an edge rusher at our spot. But man, I'd love to have him on the Vikings. I just want a Sooner. Like, I want another Sooner on the Vikings. We got Jalen Redmond now. Like, we had Asamoah. Like, I really wanted Billy Bowman. I was like, man, a Billy Bowman Vikings jersey would have gone so hard.
Man. Hopefully he is having a good recovery right now. Hated to see him tear his Achilles, but yeah, no, it'll be cool to see what happens, and we'll continue to talk about it as the draft day process continues. We'll talk about Combine Week. That might be a time where we maybe do a live show, Trav, during that process, because you'll be up here.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see what happens with it. Lastly, I think I want to get to tonight as we wrap up here in about 10 or so minutes is just, who do we think needs to have a big winter? Who do we want to see a big jump from? And obviously, you probably have some in chat. Please engage. But you got some, low hanging fruit, like, we want to see a big jump from, Reggie Powers.
I think the number one answer. I think the number one answer is very easy, and I'm wondering if the chat's going to say it first. But I think there's one player that you want to take that leap and realize their full potential, and I think it changes the way this defense can operate in 2026. It's PJ.
Everybody said, as soon as you said defense, I knew where you were going. But I did think you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it ad nauseum that yes, he needs to make better decisions. Like, he absolutely needs to make better decisions. But Oklahoma needs PJ to realize his full potential and become that 5-star, that first round pick that we thought we were getting. And he's been good, but really, really, really need him to realize his full potential. As far as that, yeah, offensively it's John Mateer. But really, I think I need to see the offensive line gel early. Talked to Bill the other night, 2 nights ago, just about continuity and how excited he is that, he's got, some continuity finally, returning 4 starters.
Yeah.
He's very excited about that. Jaron said, man, he said the offensive line, he said those young boys are some freaks. He said he's like, they're so good. I said, and Kirby, don't even bother. I said, who's the freakiest of the offensive linemen? He said Fasusi. He said Fasusi's so good. He said that guy's he's going to be here 3 years. Like, that's it. He's gone. Like, he's off into the first round 3 years. So, but that's the thing. It's EPL, Fasusi, Foje. If those three can kind of be the anchor, of and you can rotate a couple other guys out if you need to. Portal here, maybe Jake Michael at center, maybe Heath Ozida, kicks Foje out to right tackle and he plays the guard, or whatever has to happen. But if you can get consistent play over the next 2 years with Foje, Fasusi, and EPL, then Oklahoma's offense is just going to be night and day different. They're going to be able to run the ball. John Mateer is going to be able to trust the pocket, going to be able to get some downfield, kind of some longer routes developed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And we saw John Mateer starting to, in my opinion, starting to grow in that way towards the end of the year. And I think that him, hopefully next year, if we can actually get a freaking running game, that will help tremendously too. Just with play action, opening things up. You know what I mean? Like Unc said, tight end for Florida is going to be huge. I think being able to have tight ends that can actually block, and like you said, Jaron knows that. Jaron was good in the open field and with his hands, and great athlete. But being able to have somebody that knows what it means to block, and to have a tight ends coach that is a Hall of Famer, I think it's going to be exciting to see. And I think we talked about it, Trav, when we discussed Jason Witten on the show. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? But the fact that people are like, well, do we know that he can coach tight ends is insane to me. Like, I get the concept, but I'm like, dude, like he's a Hall of Fame tight end, bro. Like at the very least, like as long as he's not like an a-hole and gets into people's heads. And I hate to say this, but some people believe that about DeMarco.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, look, there's a long track record of good players that made terrible coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying DeMarco's a terrible coach, but like there's not a long list of dudes that are Hall of Fame players and great coaches.
Sure.
So, I mean, because so much of it, and here's why I think it's different. With Deion, I don't think that Deion Sanders is a good football coach. I don't think that he can coach corners, because what made Deion great at being a corner was nothing that he can teach somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You can't teach somebody to be Deion Sanders. I mean, what, he run like a 4.2? Who are you going to teach to do that? Who are you going to teach to be an elite athlete that can play 2 professional sports at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. The only difference I get with Jason Witten is, yes, he was gifted athletically, size, speed, athleticism, whatnot. But what he became known for was toughness, accountability, right? Lunch pail guy, all the typical stereotypes. But that's why he succeeded. So I think that'll bode well for him in coaching. And he knows what it looks like. He'll be able to recruit well, everything like that. But it's going to be an improvement over Joe John. Like it could, because it can't be worse. So this room right now, from a talent, like from an upside, like NFL perspective, you have more NFL body tight ends in the room right now than you've had. I don't know a year that we had this many NFL body tight ends in the room. You got them right now. So, I mean, Byron touched on it with setting the edge. I mean, watching the Florida tight end basically be another tackle out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's significant. So, yeah, I think I think Jason will be fine. I'm interested to see. He's not going to be involved in like play design and stuff like that, and I think that's fine. He doesn't need to be. Take care of your room, instill a mentality in that room that look, it's just as sexy to block as it is to score touchdowns. Like,
Yeah.
let them know. Like go dominate your assignment. So I'm excited about it. You've got guys with multiple years of eligibility left, and you just know that he's going to recruit the position extremely well.
Yeah, that's true. I believe it too. And that's more of what I was meaning. It's just like I think we've also seen just who he is from a little bit from coach perspective of like winning state championships, but a leader of men, and now you're asking him to be the leader of just the tight end room, like him pouring all his resources into something that he did at an elite level.
Mm-hmm.
I think would bode, not that it's 100% guaranteed, but it bodes well. Is what I would say, and I think we're allowed to be optimistic about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Pirates Sleep Soundly mentioned the two state titles. That was at Liberty Christian, a proud client of Team Sports Consulting Group. And it's the TAPS level. Tulsa Athletic Parish and Parochial Schools or something like that. But it's their private schools and whatnot. So, I mean, he's had success as a head coach in high school. I think to your point, you just pour that energy into one room. I think he'll be successful. He's got a lot better chance. He's got a lot better chance of being successful than I think many just random former tight ends would, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a good job relating to kids, which is, I mean, that's the name of the game.
And also, his kid's the number one linebacker in the country in 2027. He was already an OU lean. So, I mean,
you got to believe he wants to go where his dad is. You got to believe it.
You would think it's going to be hard to beat Oklahoma in that, but there are other teams that are trying to upset, the apple cart.
For sure, and that's understandable.
And also, like, Cooper doesn't want to be a guy where it's like, I don't want everybody to stop recruiting me because my dad went and took a coaching job somewhere. Like,
yeah. Okay, so we want to see. You said PJ offensively. We said John. Anybody else? I think it would be nice to see. I mean, Kip was so good last year, but I wonder if Kip can take a little bit of another leap. I think. Trying to think offensively. I think it would be nice to see Torrey make another leap, and that get back healthy obviously first, but put on some more muscle. Be a little bit thicker, and hopefully keep a lot of that explosiveness.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. B-Man, Byron says, do we have a true number one? I think Trell can be your number one. Like, Trell's an NFL receiver. Like, he was all ACC last year on an offense that, like, he was their passing offense. So he always got the top assignment. He got double teamed. He made competitive catches. He won 50-50 balls. He was able to run past people. I think Trell has the opportunity to be a number one. And it depends, like, I mean, I know what you're saying as a true number one, but Isaiah Satania was second in the SEC in receiving yards last year. And I know a lot of those situations where it's like, okay, he happened to get wide open at the end of the year because they just forgot to, there was a miscommunication and he was just standing wide open. The hideout play, like, there were a decent amount of Isaiah Satania plays, like his longest plays, that he didn't have anybody within like 15 yards of him. So, but do you have that true just, hey, when you need somebody to make a play, you throw it their way and they come down with it. I think Trell is the most likely candidate in that group.
Yeah.
I think Isaiah probably most dynamic. I think Parker Livingston, 6'4" and can run.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, that's kind of what I was getting at. I know what you're talking about when it's like a true number one. Like somebody that's productive is not necessarily a true number one. So, um, like I look at
Like you don't think Satania is a true number one, even though he was productive.
right. Well, I look at it as like, in my opinion, and it's obviously not a straight comparison, but like CD and Hollywood. Like Hollywood was number two.
Yeah.
CD was a number one.
Yeah.
Like that's where the difference is there. Is, number two can be a big play guy, but like when chips are on the table and you need somebody to go make a play, who you got? So
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. It'll be interesting to see, what we're hearing, what we're seeing. Injuries are part of football. We know it's probably going to happen. I just hope that it's not anybody significant. I hope the trail doesn't get hurt, similar to Giovanni, and that we don't have to wonder what would have been in a way, just that people stay healthy. That's the goal. But yeah, interested to see, what goes on, man, as we head into more of spring ball getting on here. So, Trav, you got anything to say to the people, man, before we get out of here?
man, if I would say that we're about to start onboarding high school football at Team Sports Consulting Group. We got teams popping up all over the country. I actually was texting one coach from Missouri during the show just now. If you've got kids that play high school football, if you coach high school football, anything like that, if you're watching this, get in touch with me. We need to be working together. We just got done, like I said, working with the Shrine Game, work with high schools and colleges all across the country. Just we'll be onboarding Tulsa football on February 3rd. So, let us know. Kids that play any type of sports, really. We do all sports, but we're about to be onboarding football for the next 4 or 5 months. So, holler at me.
Yeah, I like that. Sounds good. And yeah, we'll see you guys here next week about the same time. And love y'all. Boomer.